There once lived in the city of Cairo a cobbler named Ma'ruf who mended old shoes for his living. He had a wife called Fatima, whom the folk had nicknamed the Shrew, for she was worthless and ill-tempered, lacking in shame and forever causing mischief. She ruled her husband and used to curse him 1,000 times a day, and he feared her malice and dreaded her mischief, for though he was a man of sense and careful of his reputation, he was poor. When he earned much, he spent it on her, but when he earned little, she would revenge herself on him that night, giving him no peace and making his night black as her book. One day she said to him,
"O Ma'ruf, I want you to bring me this night vermicelli dressed with bees' honey."
If God Most High provides its price, I will bring it to you. By Allah, I have no money today, but our Lord will provide.
"I have nothing to do with that. Whether he provides or not, look that you come not to me save with the vermicelli and bees' honey, else will I make your night like your fortune when you married me and fell into my hand."
God is bountiful,
he said, and went out troubled. He prayed the morning prayer and opened his shop, saying,
I beseech you, O Lord, to provide me the price of the vermicelli and save me from the mischief of this wicked woman this night.
He sat in his shop till midday, but no work came to him and his fear of his wife grew. So he closed his shop and went out, not knowing what to do about the vermicelli, for he didn't even have money for bread. He came to the shop of the vermicelli seller and stood before it, confused, with tears filling his eyes. The cook looked at him and said,
"O Master Ma'ruf, why do you weep? Tell me what troubles you."
So Ma'ruf told him his situation, saying,
My wife is a wicked shrew who wants me to bring her vermicelli, but I have sat in my shop half the day and earned nothing, not even the price of bread. So I fear her.
The cook laughed and said,
"No harm shall come to you. How many pounds do you want?"
5 pounds.
"I have butter but no bees' honey. Here is cane syrup, however, which is better than bees' honey. What's the harm if it's made with cane syrup instead?"
Ma'ruf was ashamed to object, because the cook was giving him credit, so he said,
Give it to me with cane syrup.
The cook fried it with butter and drenched it with cane syrup until it was fit to present to kings. Then he said,
"Do you want bread and cheese?"
Yes.
So the cook gave him 4 paras worth of bread and 1 of cheese. The vermicelli cost 10 paras. Then the cook said,
"No, O Ma'ruf, that you owe me 15 paras. Go to your wife and be happy, and take this para for the bath. You'll have credit for a day or 2 or 3 until God provides. Don't worry your wife, for I will have patience with you until you have money to spare."
Ma'ruf took the vermicelli, bread, and cheese and went away with a light heart, blessing the cook and saying,
Praise be to you, O my Lord. How bountiful you are.
When he came home, his wife said,
"Have you brought the vermicelli?"
Yes.
He answered and set it before her. She looked at it and saw it was dressed with cane syrup, not bees' honey.
"Did I not tell you to bring it with bees' honey? Will you disobey me and bring it with cane syrup?"
He tried to explain, saying,
I bought it on credit.
"This talk means nothing. I will not eat it unless it's with bees' honey."
And she was angry and threw it in his face, saying,
"Begone, you fool, and bring me something different."
Then she struck him on the cheek and knocked out 1 of his teeth. Blood ran down upon his chest, and in his anger he slapped her once lightly on the head. She grabbed his beard and began crying out,
"Help, O Muslims!"
The neighbors came in and freed his beard from her grasp, blaming and reproving her, saying,
We're all content to eat vermicelli with cane syrup. Why do you oppress this poor man? This is shameful.
They calmed her until they made peace between them. But when the people left, she swore she wouldn't eat the vermicelli. Ma'ruf, being very hungry, said to himself,
She swears she won't eat, so I will eat.
So he ate, and when she saw him eating, she said,
If it be God's will, may eating it be poison to destroy your body.
It shall not be as you say.
and went on eating, laughing.
You swear you won't eat this, but God is bountiful. Tomorrow night, if he wills, I will bring you vermicelli dressed with bees' honey, and you shall eat it alone.
He tried to calm her, while she cursed him and didn't stop railing at him and reviling him till morning, when she raised her arm to beat him.
Give me time, and I will bring you different vermicelli.
Then he went to the mosque and prayed. After that, he went to his shop and opened it and sat down. But hardly had he done this when 2 officers from the judge's court came and said,
Come speak with the judge, for your wife has complained about you.
He knew her by their description and said,
May God Most High torment her.
He went with them to the judge, where he found Fatima standing, weeping and wiping away her tears, with her arm bound up and her face veil smeared with blood. The judge said, You there, have you no fear of God Most High? Why have you beaten this good woman and broken her arm and knocked out her tooth and treated her so?
If I beat her or knocked out her tooth, sentence me to what you will. But in truth, this is what happened.
And he told the judge the story from first to last. Now this judge was a kind man, so he took out a 1/4 dinar and said, O man, take this and get her vermicelli with bees' honey, and make peace between yourselves.
Give it to her,
said Ma'ruf. So she took it, and the judge made peace between them, saying, O wife, obey your husband. And you, O man, treat her kindly. Then they left the court reconciled at the judge's hands. She went one way while her husband returned by another way to his shop and sat down. But behold, the 2 court officers came to him and said,
Give us our fee.
The judge took nothing from me. On the contrary, he gave me a 1/4 dinar.
It's not our concern whether the judge took from you or gave to you. If you don't give us our fee, we'll take it from you by force.
So they dragged him about the marketplace until he sold his tools and gave them 1/2 dinar. They let him go and left, while he put his hand to his cheek and sat sorrowful, for he had no tools to work with. Soon 2 rough-looking men came to him and said,
Come, O man, and speak with the judge, for your wife has complained about you.
He made peace between us just now.
protested Ma'ruf. But they said,
We come from another judge, and your wife has complained about you to our judge.
So he got up and went with them to the second judge, calling on God for help. When he saw Fatima, he said to her,
Didn't we just make peace, good woman?
There is no peace between you and me.
So he came forward and told the judge his story, adding,
And indeed such and such judge made peace between us just now.
The judge said to her, O strumpet, since you made peace with each other, why do you come complaining?
He beat me after that.
Make peace with one another. You, O man, don't beat her again, and she won't bother you any more. So they made peace, and the judge said to Ma'ruf, Give the officers their fee. So he gave them their fee, and going back to his shop, he opened it and sat down, feeling like a drunk man from too much trouble. Soon a man came to him and said,
O Ma'ruf, hide yourself, for your wife has complained about you to the high court and the police are after you.
So he shut his shop and fled toward the gate of victory. He had 5 paras left from selling his tools, so he bought 4 paras worth of bread and 1 of cheese, fleeing from her. Now it was winter and the hour of afternoon prayer. When he went out among the rubbish heaps, rain descended upon him like water pouring from skins, and his clothes were soaked. He entered a ruined mosque called the Adaliyah, where he saw a broken cell without a door, and took shelter there from the rain. Tears streamed from his eyes, and he complained of what had happened to him, saying,
Where shall I flee from this evil woman? I beg you, O Lord, To provide me someone who will take me to a far country where she cannot find the way to me.
As he sat weeping, behold, the wall opened, and there came forth from it one of tall stature, whose appearance caused the flesh to creep. The creature said,
O man, what troubles you that you disturb me this night? For 200 years I have lived here and never seen anyone enter this place and do as you do. Tell me what you want and I will help you, for compassion for you has taken hold of my heart.
Who and what are you?
I am the spirit of this place.
So Ma'ruf told him all that had happened with his wife, and the spirit said,
Will you have me carry you to a country where your wife shall know no way to you?
Yes.
Then mount my back.
So Ma'ruf mounted on his back, and the spirit flew with him from nightfall till daybreak, when he set him down on top of a high mountain and said,
O mortal, go down this mountain and you will see the gate of a city. Enter it, for your wife cannot reach you there.
Then the spirit left him and went away. Ma'ruf remained in amazement and confusion until the sun rose. Then he said to himself,
I will get up and go down into the city, for there's no use staying here.
So he descended to the mountain's foot and saw a walled city, full of tall palaces and richly decorated buildings that delighted those who looked upon it. He entered through the gate and found it a city that lightened the grieving heart. As he walked through the streets, the townspeople stared at him, astonished, and gathered around him, for his dress was unlike theirs. One of them said,
Oh man, are you a stranger?
Yes,
What country are you from?
I am from the city of Cairo.
And when did you leave Cairo?
I left it yesterday, at the hour of afternoon prayer.
replied Ma'ruf. The man laughed and cried out,
Come here, O folk, and hear what this man says. He claims he came from Cairo and left it yesterday at the hour of afternoon prayer.
At this they all laughed and gathered around Ma'ruf, saying,
Oh man, are you mad to talk like this? How can you claim you left Cairo yesterday afternoon and found yourself here this morning, when there's a full year's journey between our city and Cairo?
None is mad but you. As for me, I speak the truth. Here is bread I brought with me from Cairo. See, it's still fresh.
He showed them the bread and they stared at it, amazed, for it was unlike their country's bread. The crowd grew around him and they said to each other,
This is Cairo bread, look at it.
So he became a spectacle in the city, and some believed him, while others called him a liar and mocked him. Then a merchant came riding on a mule, followed by 2 black slaves. He pushed through the people, saying,
Oh folk, are you not ashamed to mob this foreigner and make fun of him and laugh at him?
He scolded them until he drove them away from Ma'ruf. Then he said to Ma'ruf,
Come, O my brother. No harm shall come to you from these people. They have no shame.
So he took him and carried him to a spacious, richly decorated house fit for a king. He seated him in a guest chamber and gave orders to his slaves, who opened a chest and brought out a dress such as might be worn by a merchant worth 1,000 gold pieces. Ma'ruf put it on, and being a handsome man, he looked like a prince of merchants. Then his host called for food and they set before them a tray of all kinds of rich meats. They ate and drank, and the merchant said,
Oh my brother, what is your name?
My name is Ma'ruf, and I am a cobbler by trade, mending old shoes.
What country are you from?
I am from Cairo.
What quarter?
Do you know Cairo?
I am one of its children.
I come from the Red Street.
And whom do you know in the Red Street?
Ma'ruf named several people, then said,
Do you know Ahmed the druggist?
He was my next-door neighbor, wall to wall. Is he well?
Yes. How many sons does he have?
3 Mustafa, Muhammad, and Ali. And what has God done with them?
As for Mustafa, he is well and is a learned professor. Muhammad is a druggist and opened a shop next to his father's after he married, and his wife bore him a son named Hassan.
God give you good news. And what of Ali?
Ali was my friend when we were boys. We used to play together. We would dress like Christian children and enter the church and steal the Christians' books and sell them and buy food with the money. Once the Christians caught us with a book, they complained to Ali's father, saying, "If you don't stop your son from troubling us, we'll complain to the king." So his father calmed them and beat Ali. Ali ran away, and no one knew where he went, and he's been gone 20 years with no news of him.
I am that very Ali, son of Ahmed the druggist, and you are my playmate Ma'aruf.
So they greeted each other warmly, and Ali said,
Tell me why you came from Cairo to this city.
Ma'aruf told him everything that had happened with his wife Fatima the Shrew, saying,
When her mischief became too much for me, I fled toward the gate of victory and went outside the city. The rain fell on me, so I entered a ruined cell in the Ataliya and sat there weeping. Then came forth the spirit of the place, a powerful Afrit of the jinn, and questioned me. I told him my troubles, and he took me on his back and flew with me all night between heaven and earth until he set me down on that mountain over there and told me about this city. So I came down from the mountain and entered the city. The people crowded around me and questioned me. I told them I had left Cairo yesterday, but they didn't believe me. Then you came and drove the people away and brought me to your house. This is how I left Cairo. But you, how did you get here?
Restlessness took hold of me when I was 7 years old, and I wandered from land to land and city to city until I came to this city, whose name is Iktian el-Qutan. I found its people to be kind and trusting. They trust the poor man, give him credit, and believe all he says. So I said to them, I am a merchant and my baggage has been delayed. I need a place to store it. They believed me and gave me a lodging. Then I said, Is there anyone who will lend me 1,000 dinars until my baggage arrives, so I can buy what I need? They gave me what I asked. I went to the merchant's market and saw goods. I bought them and sold them the next day at a profit of 50 dinars, then bought more. I dealt generously with everyone, so they loved me. I kept buying and selling until I grew rich. Know, O my brother, that the proverb says, the world is show and trickery, and in the land where none knows you, do whatever you want. Now, you are my friend. If you tell everyone who asks that you are a poor cobbler who fled from his wife and left Cairo yesterday, they won't believe you and you'll be a laughingstock as long as you stay in this city. And if you say an Afrit brought you here, they'll be afraid of you and none will come near you, saying, This man is possessed by an Afrit and harm will come to whoever approaches him. Such a story would dishonor both you and me, since they know I come from Cairo.
How should I act then?
I'll tell you what to do, God willing. Tomorrow I'll give you 1,000 dinars, a mule to ride, and a black slave to walk before you and bring you to the merchant's market gate. I'll be sitting there among the merchants. When I see you, I'll rise and greet you and kiss your hand and treat you with great respect. Whenever I ask if you brought such and such goods, answer plenty. And if they question me about you, I'll praise you and say you're a man of great wealth and generosity, and I'll ask them to get you a storehouse and a shop. I'll announce that you're a man of immense wealth and generosity. If a beggar comes to you, give him something, so they'll believe what I say about your greatness and generosity and love you. Then I'll invite you to a feast and invite all the merchants on your account, bringing you and them together, so they'll all know you and you'll know them. After that, you can buy and sell and give and take with them. It won't be long before you become a man of wealth.
On the next day, Ali gave him 1,000 dinars, fine clothes, and a black slave, and mounted him on a mule. The slave walked before him until they reached the merchant's market gate, where all the merchants were sitting with Ali among them. When Ali saw him, he rose and threw himself upon Ma'aruf, saying,
This is a blessed day, O merchant Ma'aruf, O man of good works and kindness.
He kissed his hand before the merchants and said to them,
O my brothers, I commend to you merchant Ma'aruf.
So they greeted him, and Ali signaled to them to treat him with great respect. They made much of him. Then Ali took the merchants aside, one after another, and praised Ma'aruf to them, saying,
This man is the chief of merchants. There lives not a wealthier man than he, for his wealth and his father's and forefathers' wealth are famous among the merchants of Cairo. He has partners in India, Sind, and Yemen, and is known for his generosity. His coming here is not for trade but to see foreign countries, for he has no need to travel for profit, having wealth that fires cannot consume. I am one of his servants.
He went on praising Ma'ruf until they set him above their heads and began telling one another of his greatness. Then they came around him and offered him pastries and sherbet, and even the chief of the merchants came and greeted him. Ali said to him in front of the merchants,
O my lord, have you perhaps brought some of such and such goods?
Plenty.
Now Ali had shown him various kinds of costly goods that day and taught him their names, both cheap and dear. Then one of the merchants said,
O my lord, have you brought yellow cloth?
Plenty.
And red cloth?
Plenty.
He replied. Whatever they asked him about, he answered, Plenty. So one merchant said,
O merchant Ali, it seems your countryman could transport 1,000 loads of costly goods and not even notice.
He would take them from one of his storehouses and miss nothing.
Then a beggar came and went around the merchants. One gave him a small coin, another gave him less, but most gave him nothing. When he came to Ma'ruf, Ma'ruf pulled out a handful of gold and gave it to him. The beggar blessed him and went away. The merchants marveled at this, saying,
Truly, this is a king's gift. He gave the beggar gold without counting it. Unless he were a man of vast wealth, he wouldn't give a beggar a handful of gold.
After a while, a poor woman came and he gave her a handful of gold. She went away blessing him and told the other beggars, who came to him one after another. He gave each one a handful of gold until he had finished the 1,000 dinars. Then he slapped his hands together and said,
God is our sufficiency, and how excellent a guardian is he.
What troubles you, O merchant Ma'ruf?
asked the chief.
It seems most of the people of this city are poor. If I had known, I would have brought a large sum of money in my saddlebags to give as alms. I fear I may be away for a long time, and it's not in my nature to refuse a beggar. I have no money left. If a poor man comes to me, what shall I say to him?
Say, God will provide for you.
That's not my custom, and I'm upset about this. I wish I had another 1,000 dinars to give as alms until my baggage arrives.
Have no worry about that,
said the chief, and he sent one of his men for 1,000 dinars and gave them to Ma'ruf. Ma'ruf went on giving to every beggar who came until the call to midday prayer. Then they entered the mosque and prayed, and what was left of the 1,000 dinars he scattered over the heads of the worshippers. This drew people's attention to him, and they called down blessings on him, while the merchants marveled at his generosity. Then he turned to another merchant and borrowed another 1,000 dinars and gave those away too. Ali watched what he did but couldn't speak. Ma'ruf kept doing this until the call to afternoon prayer, when he entered the mosque, prayed, and distributed the rest of the money. By the time they closed the market gate, he had borrowed 5,000 dinars and given them all away. He said to everyone he borrowed from,
Wait until my baggage arrives. If you want gold, I'll give you gold. If you want goods, you shall have goods, for I have great plenty.
In the evening, Ali invited Ma'ruf and the other merchants to a feast. He seated Ma'ruf in the place of honor, where Ma'ruf spoke of nothing but goods and jewels. Whenever they mentioned anything, he said,
I have plenty of it.
The next day, he went again to the market, where he got to know the merchants better. He borrowed more money from them and gave it all to the poor. He did this for 20 days, borrowing a total of 60,000 dinars, until finally the merchants began to worry.
Merchant Ma'ruf's baggage isn't coming. How long will he take people's money and give it to the poor?
One of them said.
We should speak to his countryman Ali.
So they went to Ali and said,
O Ali, Merchant Ma'ruf's baggage isn't coming.
Have patience. It cannot fail to come soon.
Then Ali took Ma'ruf aside privately and said,
Oh, Ma'aruf, what is this behavior? Did I tell you to make bread or burn it? The merchants are crying out for their money. They say you owe them 60,000 dinars, which you've borrowed and given away to the poor. How will you pay the people when you neither buy nor sell?
What does it matter? What are 60,000 dinars? When my baggage comes, I'll pay them in goods or gold and silver as they wish.
God preserve us! Do you actually have baggage?
Plenty.
God and the saints protect us from your nonsense. Did I teach you this saying so you could repeat it to me? But I'll tell the people about you.
Go ahead and talk all you want. Am I a poor man? I have plenty in my baggage, and as soon as it comes, they'll have their money's worth twice over. I don't need them.
Ali became angry and said,
You ungrateful fool! I'll teach you to lie to me.
He started railing at Ma'aruf.
Do what you will. They must wait until my baggage comes, and then they'll have their due and more.
Ali left him and went away, saying to himself,
I praised him before, and if I criticize him now, I'll make myself out to be a liar and become one of those of whom it's said, he who praises and then blames lies twice.
He didn't know what to do. Soon the merchants came to him and said,
Oh Ali, have you spoken to him?
O folk, I'm ashamed to speak to him, though he owes me 1,000 dinars. You didn't ask my advice when you lent him your money, so you have no claim on me. Demand payment from him yourselves. If he doesn't pay, complain about him to the king of the city, saying he's an impostor who has deceived you. Then the king will help you get rid of him.
So they went to the king and told him what had happened, saying,
O king of the age, we are confused about this merchant whose generosity is excessive. He does such, and all he borrows he gives away to the poor by handfuls. Were he a man of nothing, his heart wouldn't let him waste gold like this. Were he a man of wealth, his goods would have arrived by now, but we see no sign of his baggage, though he claims he has baggage and has delayed it. He owes us 60,000 dinars, all of which he's given away in charity.
They went on praising him and describing his generosity. Now this king was extremely greedy, more covetous than anyone, and when he heard of Ma'aruf's generosity, greed got the better of him, and he said to his vizier,
If this merchant weren't a man of immense wealth, he wouldn't show such generosity. His baggage will surely come, and when it does, these merchants will crowd around him, and he'll lavish wealth on them. Now I have more right to this than they do. Therefore I have a mind to make friends with him and show him love, so that when his baggage comes, I'll get what the merchants would have gotten. I'll give him my daughter in marriage and join his wealth to mine.
O king of the age, I think he's nothing but an impostor, and it's the impostor who ruins the house of the greedy.
O vizier, I'll test him and find out if he's an impostor or a true man of fortune.
And how will you test him?
I'll send for him and treat him well and give him a jewel I have. If he knows it and its price, he's a man of worth and fortune. But if he doesn't know it, he's an impostor and an upstart, and I'll kill him in the vilest way.
So he sent for Ma'aruf, who came and greeted him. The king returned his greeting, seated him beside himself, and said,
Are you the merchant Ma'aruf?
Yes.
The merchants claim you owe them 60,000 dinars. Is this true?
Yes.
Then why don't you give them their money?
Let them wait until my baggage arrives, and I'll repay them 2 for 1. If they want gold, they shall have gold. If they want silver, they shall have silver. Or, if they prefer merchandise, I'll give them merchandise. Moreover, anyone to whom I owe 1,000, I'll give 2,000 in return for the way they've trusted me and saved my reputation before the poor. I have plenty.
Then the king said,
O merchant, take this and tell me what kind it is and what it's worth.
He gave him a jewel the size of a hazelnut, which he had bought for 1,000 dinars and treasured greatly. Ma'aruf took it and pressed it between his thumb and forefinger, and it broke, for it was brittle.
Why have you broken the jewel?
Asked the king. Ma'aruf laughed and said,
O king of the age, this is no jewel. This is just a bit of mineral worth 1,000 dinars. Why do you call it a jewel? A real jewel is worth 70,000 dinars, And this is called just a piece of mineral. A jewel that's not the size of a walnut has no value in my eyes, and I don't count it as anything. How is it that you, a king, call this a jewel when it's just a piece of mineral worth 1,000 dinars? But you're excused, for you're poor and don't own things of real value.
O merchant, do you have jewels like those you speak of?
Plenty.
Greed overcame the king, and he said,
Will you give me real jewels?
When my baggage arrives, I'll give you jewels in abundance, and all you desire I have in plenty, and will give to you without price.
At this the king rejoiced and said to the merchants,
Go your ways and be patient with him until his baggage arrives. Then come to me and receive your money from me.
So they went away. The king turned to his vizier and said,
Take care of merchant Ma'aruf and talk with him, and speak to him about my daughter, so he may marry her, and we can gain these riches of his.
O king of the age, this man's behavior doesn't please me. I think he's an impostor and a liar. So leave this matter alone, lest you lose your daughter for nothing.
Now this vizier had tried before to get the king to give him his daughter in marriage, and the king had been willing, but she wouldn't consent to marry him. So the king said to him,
O traitor, you want no good for me. You sought my daughter in marriage before, but she wouldn't have you. Now you want to stop her marriage and keep her unmarried so you can have her. But hear this, you have no say in this matter. How can he be an impostor and a liar when he knew the price of the jewel, exactly what I bought it for, and broke it because it didn't please him? He has jewels in abundance. When he goes in to my daughter and sees how beautiful she is, she will captivate him, and he will love her and give her jewels and precious things. As for you, you would keep my daughter and me from these riches.
The vizier fell silent, fearing the king's anger, and said to himself,
Let the dogs loose on the cattle.
Then he went to Ma'aruf and said,
His Highness, the king loves you and has a daughter, beautiful and graceful, whom he wishes to marry to you. What do you say?
I accept, but let him wait until my baggage arrives, for the dowry of king's daughters is large, and their rank requires that they be endowed with a befitting dowry. At present I have no money with me until my baggage comes, for I have wealth in abundance. I must make her marriage portion 5,000 purses. Then I'll need 1,000 purses to distribute among the poor and needy on my wedding night, another 1,000 for those who walk in the bridal procession, and yet another 1,000 to provide food for the troops and others. Moreover, I'll want 100 jewels to give the princess on the wedding morning, and another 100 to distribute among the slave girls and eunuchs, for I must give each one a jewel to honor the bride. Besides, I'll need money to clothe 1,000 naked poor folk, and alms must be given too. All this cannot be done until my baggage comes. But I have plenty, and once it's here, I'll make no account of all this expense.
The vizier returned to the king and told him what Ma'aruf said.
Since this is his wish, how can you call him an impostor and a liar?
I still say this.
But the king scolded him angrily, saying,
By my head, if you don't stop this talk, I'll kill you. Go back to him and bring him to me, and I'll deal with him myself.
So the vizier returned to Ma'aruf and said,
Come speak with the king.
I hear and obey,
replied Ma'aruf, and he went into the king, who said to him,
You shall not put me off with these excuses, for my treasury is full. Take the keys and spend all you need. Give what you will, clothe the poor, do as you wish, and don't worry about the dowry and waiting women. When your baggage comes, do what you will with your wife by way of generosity. We'll have patience with you for the marriage portion until then, for there's no difference between you and me.
Then he sent for the religious judge and ordered him to draw up the marriage contract between his daughter and merchant Ma'aruf, and he did so. After that, the king gave the signal for the wedding festivities to begin. He commanded the city to be decorated. The drums beat and tables were spread with all kinds of food. There came entertainers, dancers, and acrobats. Ma'aruf sat on a throne in a gallery while the entertainers performed before him. He kept calling to the treasurer, saying,
Bring gold and silver.
The treasurer brought gold and silver, and Ma'aruf went around among the entertainers giving to each performer by the handful. He also gave alms to the poor and needy and clothed the naked. It was a tremendous festival, and the treasurer couldn't bring money fast enough from the treasury. The vizier's heart nearly burst with rage, but he dared not say a word. Ali marveled at this waste of wealth and said to Ma'aruf,
God and the saints preserve you. Isn't it enough that you squandered the merchant's money? Must you squander the king's wealth too?
It's none of your business. When my baggage comes, I'll repay the king many times over.
He went on lavishing money and saying to himself,
Let come what may. What will happen, and there's no escape from what's decreed.
The festivities continued for 40 days. On the 41st day, they held the bride's procession, and all the emirs and troops walked before her. When they brought her before Ma'aruf, he scattered gold on people's heads in a magnificent procession, spending vast sums. Then they brought him in to her, and shut the doors and withdrew, leaving him alone with his bride. He sat on the couch and slapped his hands together, sitting sadly and saying,
There is no power and no strength save in God Most High.
O my Lord, God preserve you. What troubles you?
And how should I not be troubled when your father has embarrassed me and done something like burning green corn?
What has my father done to you? Tell me.
He brought me into you before my baggage arrived. I wanted at least 100 jewels to distribute among your women, 1 jewel for each, so each might rejoice and say, My lord gave me a jewel on the night. He went in to my lady. I would have done this to honor your position and increase your dignity, and I don't need to stint myself in giving jewels, for I have great plenty of them.
Don't worry about that. Don't trouble yourself about me, for I'll be patient with you until your baggage comes. As for my women, have no concern for them. Rise, take off your clothes, and relax. When the baggage comes, we'll get the jewels and all the rest.
So he got up, took off his clothes, and sat on the bed. They began playing with each other, and she sat in his lap and put her arms around him. That hour was such as makes a man forget his father and mother. He took her in his arms, and they spent the night in pleasure. When morning came, he entered the bath, then put on a suit of royal apparel and went to the king's council. All who were there rose to receive him with honor and respect, congratulating him and calling down blessings upon him. He sat down by the king's side and said,
Where is the treasurer?
Here I am.
Bring robes of honor for all the viziers and emirs and officers and clothe them.
The treasurer brought all he asked for, and Ma'aruf sat giving to everyone who came to him, rewarding each person according to his station. He continued this way for 20 days, while no baggage appeared, nor anything else, until the treasurer was completely drained. He went into the king while the king sat alone with the vizier. Ma'aruf, being absent, kissed the ground before him and said,
O king of the age, I must tell you something, lest you blame me for not telling you. Know that the treasury is nearly empty. There's only a little money left in it, and in 10 days we'll shut it upon nothing.
The king looked at the vizier and said,
O vizier, my son-in-law's baggage is taking a long time, and there's no news of it.
The vizier laughed and said,
God be gracious to you, O king of the age. You've been reckless about this lying impostor. As you live, there is no baggage for him, no, nor anything. No, he's just imposed on you endlessly, so that he's wasted your treasures and married your daughter for nothing. How long will you be blind to this liar?
O vizier, how shall we learn the truth?
O king of the age, no one can get at a man's secret but his wife. So send for your daughter to come behind the curtain, and I'll question her about the truth of his situation, so she can test him and tell us his real condition.
There's no harm in that. By my head, if it turns out he's a liar and an impostor, I'll kill him in the vilest way.
Then he took the vizier into the sitting chamber and sent for his daughter. She came behind the curtain, and her father said,
Speak with the vizier.
What do you want, O vizier?
Oh, my lady, You must know that your husband has squandered your father's wealth and married you without a dowry. He keeps promising us, but his promises never come true, and there's no sign of his baggage. We want you to tell us about him.
Indeed, his words are many. He keeps coming and promising me jewels and precious things and costly goods, but I see nothing.
Oh, my lady, can you tonight get him to talk and play along with him? Say to him, "Tell me the truth and fear nothing, for you've become my husband and I won't betray you. So tell me the real situation, and I'll help you find a way to be safe. Win him over, make him confess, then tell us the true state of his case."
Very well.
Then she left, and after nightfall her husband came in to her as usual. She rose to him and took him under the arm and coaxed him skillfully, for women are never at a loss for wiles when they want something from men. She kept caressing him and beguiling him with sweet speech until she completely stole his reason. When she saw he was entirely in her power, she said,
"O my beloved, O comfort of my eyes and fruit of my heart, may God not take you from me nor let time separate us. Indeed, love of you is settled in my heart, and I'm consumed with the fire of longing. I'll never forsake you nor betray you. But I want you to tell me the truth, for falsehood doesn't work and doesn't always gain belief. How long will you deceive my father and lie to him? I fear your affair will be discovered to him before we can think of a plan, and he'll harm you. So tell me the truth and fear no harm, for nothing shall happen to you except what will make you happy. How much longer will you pretend you're a merchant and a man of wealth with baggage? You've been saying, my baggage, for a long while now, but no sign of your baggage appears, and worry about this shows on your face. So if there's no truth in your words, tell me and I'll devise a way, God willing, for you to escape safely."
Oh, my lady, I'll tell you the truth, and you may do as you wish.
Speak, and be sure to speak truly, for truth is the path of safety. Beware of lying, for it dishonors whoever speaks it.
Know then, oh my lady, that I'm no merchant and have no baggage, no, nor anything at all. No, I was only a cobbler in my own country, and had a wife called Fatima the Shrew, and this and that happened to me.
And he told her his whole story from beginning to end. She laughed and said,
Truly, you're skilled at lying and trickery.
Oh, my lady, may God Most High preserve you to cover faults and dispel troubles.
No, that you deceived my father and tricked him by your great boasting, so that out of his greed he married me to you. Then you squandered his wealth, and the vizier holds a grudge against you for this. Many times he's spoken against you to my father, saying he's an impostor and a liar. But my father wouldn't listen to him, for my father wanted me in marriage, but I wouldn't consent to be his wife. However, time grew long for my father, and he became worried and said to me, "Make him confess." So I've made you confess, and now what was hidden is revealed. My father intends you harm because of this. But you've become my husband, and I'll never abandon you nor betray you. If I told my father what I've learned from you, he'd be certain of your lying and trickery, and that you deceived kings' daughters and squandered their wealth. Then your crime would find no pardon with him, and he'd kill you without mercy. This would be noised abroad that I married a man who was a liar and impostor, which would shame me. Moreover, if he kills you, he'll likely want to marry me to another, and I'll never consent to that, not even if I die. So rise now and put on servant's clothes. Take these 50,000 dinars of my money and mount a fast horse and flee to a land where my father has no power. Then set yourself up as a merchant and send me a letter by a messenger who will bring it to me secretly, so I'll know where you are and can send you all I can get my hands on. Then your wealth will grow great, and if my father dies, I'll send for you and you'll return in honor. If we die, you or I, and depart to the mercy of God Most High, the resurrection will reunite us. This is the right course of action. As long as we both live and are well, I won't stop sending you letters and money. Now rise before daybreak catches you and your confounded and destruction surrounds you.
Oh, my lady, I beg you, let me say farewell to you with an embrace.
Very well.
So he lay with her and made his ablutions. Then, Putting on servant's clothes, he ordered the grooms to saddle him a horse. They saddled a fine courser for him. He mounted, took leave of his wife, and rode out of the city in the last hours of night, while all who saw him thought he was one of the Sultan's slaves going on an errand. Next morning, the king and his vizier went to the sitting chamber and sent for the princess. She came behind the curtain, and her father said,
"Oh, my daughter, what do you have to say?"
I say, may God blacken your vizier's face, for he wanted to blacken my reputation in my husband's eyes.
"How so?"
He came in to me yesterday, but before I could speak of the matter to him, the eunuch Faraj came in with a letter in his hand. He said, 10 white slaves stand under the window and have given me this letter, saying, 'Kiss for us the hands of our lord merchant Ma'ruf and give him this letter, for we are his servants with the baggage, and we've been told he married the king's daughter. So we've come to inform him of what befell us on the way.' So I took the letter and read these words, 'From the 500 slaves to His Highness, our Lord Merchant Ma'ruf. We give you to know that after you left us, the Arabs came out and attacked us. They were 2,000 horsemen, and we were 500 servants, and a great battle happened between us and them. They took from us 200 loads of goods and killed 50 of our men. They also delayed us on the road for 30 days, and this is why we're late.' When my husband heard this, he said, 'God disappoint them. Why did they fight with the Arabs for 200 loads of merchandise? What are 200 loads? It's worth only about 7,000 dinars. They shouldn't have delayed for that. But I must go to them and hurry them along. As for what the Arabs took, it won't be missed from the baggage, I barely count it. I consider it as if I gave them charity.' Then he left me, laughing and taking no concern for the loss of his goods or the killing of his men. As soon as he left, I looked out from the window and saw the 10 slaves who had brought him the letter. They were like moons, each dressed in a suit worth 2,000 dinars. My father doesn't have a slave to match even one of them. He went out with them to bring up his baggage. Praise God who prevented me from saying to him what you told me to say, for he would have mocked me and you, and perhaps he would have looked at me with contempt and hated me. But the fault is all with your vizier, who speaks against my husband with words that don't suit him."
"Oh, my daughter, your husband's wealth is indeed immense, and he doesn't care about it. From the day he entered our city, he's done nothing but give alms to the poor. God willing, he'll soon return with the baggage, and great good will come to us from him."
So he went on to calm her and scold the vizier, being completely deceived by her trick. Meanwhile, Ma'ruf rode into the open country, confused and not knowing where to go. He rode on, troubled and distressed, not stopping until noon, when he came to a little town and saw a farmer nearby, plowing with a pair of bulls. Hunger was strong upon him, so he went up to the plowman and said,
"Peace be upon you."
The peasant returned his greeting and said,
"Welcome, O my lord. Are you one of the Sultan's officers?
"Yes."
Then come down and stay with me, and I'll entertain you."
Ma'ruf knew he was a generous man and said,
"Oh, my brother, I see you have nothing to feed me with. How can you invite me?"
"O my lord, good is at hand. Come down here. The town is near, and I'll go fetch you lunch and fodder for your horse."
"Since the town is near, I can go there as quickly as you and buy what I need in the market and eat."
"O my lord, it's just a little village with no market and nothing to buy or sell. So I beg you by Allah, come down here with me and cheer my heart, and I'll go quickly and return."
So Ma'ruf got down, and the peasant left him and went to the village to fetch lunch, while Ma'ruf waited for him. After a while, Ma'ruf said to himself,
"I've kept this poor man from his work, but I'll get up and plow in his place until he comes back to make up for hindering him."
So he took the plow and started the bulls going, plowing a little. Suddenly the plowshare struck against something and the beasts stopped. He urged them on, but they couldn't move the plow. He looked at the plowshare and found it caught in a ring of gold. He cleared away the earth from around it, and saw that the ring was set in the middle of a slab of alabaster the size of a millstone. He struggled with the stone until he pulled it up from its place, and beneath it appeared an underground stairway. He went down the stairs and came to a place like a bath, with 4 alcoves. The first was full of gold from floor to ceiling. The second was full of emeralds, pearls, and coral. The third was full of jacinth, rubies, and turquoise. The fourth was full of diamonds and all kinds of precious stones. At the far end of the place stood a chest of clear crystal, full of unique jewels each the size of a walnut, and on top of it lay a small golden casket the size of a lemon. When he saw this, he marveled and rejoiced greatly, saying to himself,
I wonder what's in this casket?
He opened it, and found inside a seal ring of gold, engraved with names and talismans like tiny anthrax. He rubbed the ring, and immediately a voice said,
Here I am, at your service, O my lord. Ask and it shall be given to you. Will you build a city or destroy one? Kill a king or dig a river or anything of the sort? Whatever you seek will come to pass, by permission of the Almighty King, creator of night and day.
O creature of my lord, who and what are you?
I am the servant of this ring, standing in service to whoever possesses it. Whatever he asks, I do for him, and I have no excuse for not doing what he commands. I am sultan over 72 tribes of the jinn, each tribe numbering 72,000, every one of whom rules over 1,000 marids, each marid over 1,000 afrits, each afrit over 1,000 satans, and each satan over 1,000 jinn. They are all under my command and cannot disobey me. As for me, I'm bound to this seal ring and cannot disobey whoever possesses it. Now you've gained possession of it and I've become your servant. Ask what you will, for I hear your words and obey your commands. If you need me at any time, by land or sea, rub the ring and you'll find me with you. But beware of rubbing it twice in a row, or you'll burn me with the fire of the names engraved on it, and then you'd lose me and regret it afterward. Now I've told you my situation, and peace be upon you.
What is your name?
My name is Abusadat.
Oh, Abusadat, what is this place, and who bound you in this casket?
Oh my lord, this is a treasure called the treasure of Shaddad son of Aad, who built Iram of the columns, the like of which was never made in the lands. I was his servant in his lifetime, and this is his seal ring, which he stored in his treasure. But it's yours by destiny.
Can you bring what's in this treasure to the surface of the earth?
Yes. Nothing easier.
Then bring it out and leave nothing.
The genie gestured to the ground, which split open, and he went down and was gone a little while. Then there came forth handsome young boys with beautiful faces, carrying golden baskets full of gold. They emptied them out, went away, and returned with more. They kept transporting the gold and jewels until shortly they said,
Nothing's left in the treasure.
Then out came Abusadat and said to Ma'ruf,
Oh my lord, you see we've brought out all that was in the treasure.
Who are these beautiful boys?
They are my sons. This task didn't require me to summon the marids, so my sons have done your business and are honored to serve you. Now ask what you want besides this.
Can you bring me mules and chests and fill the chests with the treasure and load them on the mules?
Nothing easier.
He gave a great cry, and his sons appeared before him, 800 of them. He said to them,
Let some of you take the form of mules and others of muleteers and servants and handsome white slaves, the like of whom no king possesses.
So 700 of them changed into pack mules and 100 took the form of servants. Then Abusadat called upon his marids, who appeared before him, and he commanded some to take the form of horses with golden saddles set with jewels. They did as he commanded. Ma'ruf asked,
Where are the chests?
They brought them before him, and he said,
Pack the gold and jewels, each kind separately.
So they packed them and loaded 300 mules with them. Then Ma'ruf said,
Oh, Abusadat, can you bring me loads of costly fabrics?
Do you want Egyptian fabrics, Syrian, Persian, Indian, or Greek?
Bring me 100 loads of each kind on 500 mules.
Oh my lord, grant me time to organize my marids for this. I'll send a company of them to each country to fetch 100 loads of its fabrics, then take the form of mules and return carrying the goods.
How much time do you need?
Until the darkness of night. By morning you'll have all you seek.
I grant you this time.
They pitched him a tent, and he sat in it. They brought him a table of food. Then Abusadat said,
O my lord, stay in this tent and my sons will guard you. Fear nothing, for I go to gather my merits and send them to do what you wish.
He departed, leaving Ma'aruf sitting in the tent with the table before him and the genie's sons attending him in the guise of slaves and servants. Soon the farmer came back with a large platter of lentils and a bag of barley. When he saw the tent pitched and the slaves standing with their hands on their chests, he thought the Sultan had come and stopped there. He stood confused and said to himself,
I wish I had killed a pair of chickens and fried them with butter for the Sultan.
He was about to go back to kill the chickens, but Ma'aruf saw him and called out. The slaves brought him and his load before Ma'aruf.
What is this?
This is your lunch and your horse's fodder. Forgive me. I didn't know the Sultan would come here. If I had known, I would have killed chickens and entertained him properly.
The Sultan hasn't come. I'm his son-in-law, and I quarreled with him. But he sent his officers to make peace with me, and now I'm going back to the city. But you've made me this meal without knowing me, and I accept it from you even though it's lentils, and I won't eat except from your food.
So he had them set the platter in the middle of the table and ate from it until he was full, while the farmer filled his belly with those rich meats. Then Ma'aruf washed his hands and gave the servants permission to eat, so they fell on the remains of the meal and ate. When the platter was empty, he filled it with gold and gave it to the peasant, saying,
Take this to your home and come to me in the city, and I'll treat you well.
The farmer took the platter full of gold and returned to the village, driving the bulls before him and considering himself related to the king. Meanwhile, they brought Ma'aruf dancer girls from among the treasure maidens, who played instruments and danced before him, and he spent that night in joy and delight, a night not to be counted among lifetimes. As soon as day broke, a great cloud of dust arose, which presently cleared to reveal 700 mules laden with fabrics and attended by muleteers, baggage handlers, and torch-bearers. With them came Abusadat riding a mule, looking like a caravan leader. Before him was a traveling litter with 4 posts of glittering red gold, set with jewels. When Abusadat reached the tent, he got down, kissed the earth, and said to Ma'aruf,
O my lord, your task is accomplished in full. In the litter is a treasure suit that has no match among king's clothing. Put it on and mount the litter and command us as you will.
Oh, Abusadat, I want you to go to the city of Iktian el-Qutan and deliver a letter I'll write to my father-in-law the king, but go to him only in the form of a human messenger.
I hear and obey.
Ma'aruf wrote the letter, sealed it, and gave it to Abusadat, who set out to deliver it to the king. When he arrived, he found the king saying,
O Vizier, my heart is worried about my son-in-law. I fear the Arabs may have killed him. I wish he had told me where he was going, so I could have followed him with the troops.
May God have mercy on your foolishness. As you live, the fellow saw that we were onto him and feared exposure, so he fled. He's nothing but a lying impostor.
At that moment the messenger came in, kissed the ground before the king, and wished him lasting glory and prosperity and length of life.
Who are you and what is your business?
I am a messenger. Your son-in-law sends me to you with a letter, and he's coming with the baggage train.
The king took the letter and read these words.
Peace to the fullest upon our father-in-law, the glorious king. Know that I am near with the baggage train. Come out to meet me with the troops.
The king said,
God blacken your face, O Vizier. How often will you slander my son-in-law and call him a liar and impostor? Look, he's coming with the baggage train, and you're nothing but a traitor.
The vizier hung his head in shame and said,
O king of the age, I spoke as I did because of the long delay of the baggage, and because I feared for the wealth he spent.
O traitor, What do my riches matter now that his baggage has come? He'll give me great plenty in their place.
Then he ordered the city to be decorated and went in to his daughter, saying,
Good news! Your husband will be here soon with his baggage, for he sent me a letter to that effect, and I'm now going out to meet him.
The princess marveled at this and said to herself,
This is strange. Was he laughing at me and mocking me, or did he want to test me when he told me he was a poor man? But praise God that I didn't fail in my duty to him.
Meanwhile, Ali the Kyrene saw the city being decorated and asked what was happening. They told him,
The baggage train of merchant Ma'ruf, the king's son-in-law, has come.
God is most great! What a calamity! He came to me fleeing from his wife, and he was a poor man. Where would he get a baggage train? But perhaps this is a trick the king's daughter has made up for him to avoid disgrace, and kings can do anything. May God Most High protect him and not expose him.
All the merchants rejoiced, happy they would get their money. Then the king assembled his troops and rode out, while Abu Sadat returned to Ma'ruf and told him he had completed his mission.
Bind the loads.
So they bound them, and he mounted the litter. Putting on the treasure suit, he became 1,000 times greater and more majestic than the king. Then he set out. When he had gone halfway, the king met him with the troops. Seeing him riding in the litter and dressed in that magnificent suit, the king threw himself upon him, greeted him, and welcomed him with peace. All the great men of the kingdom greeted him too, and it became clear that he had spoken the truth and there was no lie in him. Then he entered the city in such splendor as would have made a lion's heart burst for all. The merchants crowded around him and kissed his hands, while Ali said to him,
You've pulled off this trick and it worked for you, O chief of impostors. But you deserve it, and may God Most High increase you from his bounty.
Ma'ruf laughed. Entering the palace, he sat on the throne and said,
Carry the loads of gold into the treasury of my uncle the king, and bring me the bales of fabrics.
They brought him the bales and opened them before him, bale after bale, until they had opened the 700 loads. He chose the best and said,
Carry these to the princess, so she may distribute them among her women. And carry her also this chest of jewels, so she may distribute them among her women and eunuchs.
Then he began giving the merchants goods to pay their debts, giving whoever was owed 1,000, goods worth 2,000 or more. After that, he began distributing to the poor and needy, while the king looked on and couldn't stop him. Ma'ruf kept giving until he had distributed all 700 loads. Then he turned to the troops and began distributing emeralds, rubies, pearls, coral, and other jewels by handfuls, without counting, until the king said,
Enough of this giving, O my son. Little is left of the baggage.
I have plenty.
Indeed, his honesty had become clear and none could call him a liar any more. He had come not to care about giving, for the servant of the ring brought him whatever he wanted. Soon the treasurer came in to the king and said,
O king of the age, the treasury is full and won't hold the rest of the loads. Where shall we put what's left of the gold and jewels?
The king assigned him another place. As for the princess, when she saw this, her joy doubled and she marveled, saying to herself,
How did he get all this wealth?
Likewise, the merchants rejoiced in what he had given them and blessed him, while Ali wondered and said to himself,
How did he manage all this? But how excellent is the saying, when the King of Kings gives, forbid yourself from questioning why or whence. God gives to whom he will, so keep within the bounds of reverence.
The king too marveled greatly at Ma'ruf's generosity and open-handedness in giving away wealth. Then Ma'ruf went into his wife, who met him smiling and joyful. She kissed his hand and said,
Did you mock me, or did you want to test me by saying I'm a poor man and a fugitive from my wife? Praise God that I didn't fail in my duty to you. For you're my beloved, and there's none dearer to me than you, whether you're rich or poor. But I wish you'd tell me what you meant by those words.
I wanted to test you to see if your love was sincere or just for wealth and worldly goods. But now it's clear to me that your love is sincere. So, welcome to you. I know your worth.
Then he went apart to a private place and rubbed the ring. Abusadat appeared and said,
Here I am, at your service. Ask what you will.
I want a treasure suit and treasure jewelry for my wife, including a necklace of 40 unique jewels.
I hear and obey.
And he brought what was asked. Ma'aruf dismissed him and carried the dress and jewelry into his wife and laid them before her, saying,
Take these and put them on. Welcome.
When she saw them, her reason fled for joy. She found among the ornaments a pair of golden anklets set with jewels, made by magicians, and bracelets and earrings and a belt such as no money could buy. She put on the dress and ornaments and said to Ma'aruf,
Oh my lord, I'll treasure these for special occasions and festivals.
Wear them always, for I have others in plenty.
When she put them on and her women saw her, they rejoiced and kissed his hands. Then he left them and went apart by himself. He rubbed the ring and the genie appeared. Ma'aruf said to him,
Bring me 100 suits of clothing with their gold jewelry.
I hear and obey.
And he brought the 100 suits, each with its jewelry wrapped inside. Ma'aruf took them and called the slave girls, and when they came, he gave each one a suit. They put them on and became like the dark-eyed maidens of paradise, while the princess shone among them like the moon among stars. One of them told the king about this, and he came in to his daughter and saw her and her women dazzling all who beheld them. He was amazed. Then he went out and called his vizier, saying,
O vizier, such and such things have happened. What do you say now about this matter?
O king of the age, this is no merchant's way. A merchant keeps a piece of cloth for years and won't sell it except at a profit. How could a merchant have such generosity, and where would he get the like of these riches and jewels, which even a small amount of isn't found with kings? So how could loads of them be found with merchants? There must be a reason for this. If you'll listen to me, I'll reveal the truth of the matter to you.
O vizier, I'll do as you say.
Then meet with your son-in-law and make a show of love to him and talk with him. Say, O my son-in-law, I have a mind for us to go, you, me, and the vizier no more, to a garden where we may enjoy ourselves. When we get to the garden, we'll set out wine, and I'll ply him with it and make him drink, whether he wants to or not. When he's drunk, he'll lose his reason, and his judgment will leave him. Then we'll question him about the truth of his situation, and he'll reveal his secrets to us. For wine is a traitor. Once he's told us the truth, we'll know his real condition and can do with him as we wish. I fear for you what this may lead to, for it may be he wants the kingdom and will win over the troops by generosity and wealth, then depose you and take the kingdom from you.
You're right.
And they spent the night on this agreement. The next day, the king went out and sat in the guest chamber. Behold, the grooms and servants came in to him, distressed.
What has happened to you?
O king of the age, the grooms tended the horses and foddered them and the mules that brought the baggage. But when we got up this morning, we found that your son-in-law's servants had stolen the horses and mules and left. We searched the stables but found neither horse nor mule. We entered the servants' lodging and saw no one there, nor do we know how they escaped.
The king marveled at this, not knowing that the mules, horses, and servants were all Afrits, subjects of the servant of the spell. He said to the grooms,
O wretches, how could 1,000 beasts and 500 slaves and servants flee without your knowledge?
We don't know how it happened.
Go, and when your lord comes out of the harem, tell him.
So they went out and waited, confused, until Ma'aruf came out. Seeing them troubled, he said,
What's wrong?
They told him what had happened, and he said,
What's their value that you should worry about them? Go away.
He sat laughing, neither angry nor troubled about the matter. The king looked at the vizier's face and said to him,
What kind of man is this, who doesn't care about wealth? There must be a reason for this.
Then they talked with him for a while, and the king said,
"O my son-in-law, I have a mind for us to go, you, me, and the vizier, to a garden where we may enjoy ourselves."
I'm willing.
So they went to a garden that had 2 kinds of every fruit, full of running waters and tall trees and singing birds. There they entered a pavilion whose very sight removed sorrow from the heart. They sat talking while the vizier entertained them with rare stories and funny jokes and amusing sayings. Ma'ruf listened until the time for lunch came, when they set out a tray of meats and a pitcher of wine. When they had eaten and washed their hands, the vizier filled the cup and gave it to the king, who drank it. Then he filled a second cup and gave it to Ma'ruf, saying,
Take the cup of the drink to which reason bows its head in reverence.
What is this, O vizier?
This is the ancient virgin and the old maid long kept in the house, the giver of joy to hearts.
And he went on reciting verses praising wine and urging Ma'ruf to drink. Ma'ruf began drinking from the cup and enjoying himself, making merry. The vizier kept filling for him, and he kept drinking and having fun until he lost his reason and couldn't tell right from wrong. When the vizier saw that drunkenness had completely overcome him, he said,
By Allah, O merchant Ma'ruf, I wonder where you got these jewels, whose like the ancient kings didn't possess. In all our lives we've never seen a merchant with riches like yours or more generous than you. Your way is the way of kings, not the way of merchants. So by God, tell me the truth about this, that I may know your rank and station.
He kept plying him with questions and flattering him until Ma'ruf, having lost his reason, said,
I'm neither merchant nor king.
And he told him his whole story from first to last. Then the vizier said,
I beg you by Allah, O my lord Ma'ruf, show us the ring, so we may see its shape.
So in his drunkenness he pulled off the ring and said,
Take it and look at it.
The vizier took it and turned it over, asking,
If I rub it, will the genie appear?
Yes, rub it, and he'll appear to you, and you can amuse yourself by looking at him.
So the vizier rubbed the ring, and immediately the genie appeared, saying,
Here I am, at your service, O my lord. Ask and it shall be given to you. Will you destroy a city or build one or kill a king? Whatever you seek, I will do for you without fail.
The vizier pointed to Ma'ruf and said,
Take that knave and cast him down in the most desolate desert, where he'll find nothing to eat or drink. So he'll die of hunger and thirst and perish miserably, with none knowing of him.
So the genie snatched him up and flew with him between heaven and earth. When Ma'ruf saw this, he gave himself up for lost and wept, saying,
Oh, Abusadat, where are you taking me?
Fool that you are, I'm going to cast you down in the desert. Shall one have such a talisman and give it to people to look at? You deserve what has happened to you. But that I fear God, I'd let you fall from a height of 1,000 fathoms, and you wouldn't reach the earth until the winds had torn you to pieces.
Ma'ruf was silent, and didn't speak to him again until he reached the desert, and cast him down there. Then the genie went away and left him in that horrible place. Meanwhile, the vizier said to the king,
What do you think now? Didn't I tell you this fellow was a liar and an impostor, but you wouldn't believe me?
You were right, O my vizier. God grant you health, but give me the ring so I may look at it.
The vizier looked at him angrily and spat in his face, saying,
O fool, how shall I give it to you, and remain your servant when I become your master? I won't spare you.
Then he rubbed the ring and said to the genie,
Take this fool and cast him down beside his son-in-law the impostor.
So the genie took him up and flew off with him. The king said,
O creature of my lord, what is my crime?
I don't know. My lord has commanded me to do this, and I cannot disobey whoever possesses the magic ring.
He flew on with him until he came to the desert, and cast him down where he had cast Ma'ruf, then returned and left him. The king, hearing Ma'ruf weeping, went to him and they told each other their stories. They sat weeping over what had happened to them, finding neither food nor drink. As for the vizier, he went out from the garden and summoned all the troops. He held court, and told them what he had done with the king and Ma'ruf. He told them about the ring, adding,
Unless you make me sultan over you, I'll command the servant of the ring to take you all up and throw you down in the desert where you'll die of hunger and thirst.
Don't harm us. We accept you as sultan over us and won't disobey your command in any way.
So they agreed, against their will, to make him sultan. He gave them robes of honor, seeking all he wanted from Abu Sadat, who brought it to him at once. Then he sat on the throne, and the troops submitted to him. He sent to the king's daughter, saying,
Prepare yourself, for I mean to come in to you tonight, because I desire you.
When she heard this, she wept for her husband and father, but it was hard on her. She sent to him, saying,
Have patience with me until my period of widowhood is complete. Then draw up your marriage contract with me and come in to me according to law.
But he sent back, saying,
I know neither period of widowhood nor delay, and I don't need a contract. I don't know lawful from unlawful. I must come in to you tonight.
She answered, saying,
So be it then, and welcome to you.
But this was a trick on her part. When the answer reached the vizier, he rejoiced, his heart was glad, for he was passionately in love with her. He ordered food set before all the people, saying,
Eat, for this is my wedding feast. I'm going in to the princess tonight.
As soon as it was night, the vizier went into her and found her dressed in her richest clothes and decorated with her finest jewelry. When she saw him, she came to meet him, laughing, and said,
This is a blessed night. But if you had killed my father and my husband, it would have been even better to me.
I must kill them.
Then she made him sit down and began to joke with him and make a show of love, caressing him and smiling in his face until his reason fled. She did this only to trick him so she could get possession of the ring and turn his joy into sorrow. She dealt with him according to the saying, I have won by my trick what swords and might could not achieve, and I return with plunder whose fruit is sweet to the taste and sight. When he saw her caress him and smile at him, desire stirred in him, and he sought to lie with her. But when he drew near, she pulled back from him, saying,
Oh my lord, do you not see the man looking at us? I beg you by Allah, protect me from his eyes. How can he lie with me while he's watching us?
When he heard this, he was angry and said,
Where's the man?
There, in the bezel of the ring, sticking out his head and looking at us.
He thought the genie was looking at them and said, laughing,
Don't be afraid. This is the servant of the ring, and he's under my command.
I'm afraid of afrits. Pull it off and throw it far from me.
So he pulled it off and laid it on the cushion. He drew near to her, but she gave him a kick in the stomach and he fell over on his back senseless. She cried out to her attendants, who came running, and said,
Grab him.
So 40 slave girls seized him, while she snatched up the ring from the cushion and rubbed it. Abu Sadat appeared, saying,
Here I am, at your service, O my mistress.
Take this infidel and throw him in prison and shackle him heavily.
So he took him, put him in harsh prison, and returned to tell her.
Where did you go with my father and my husband?
I cast them down in the desert.
I command you to bring them to me immediately.
I hear and obey.
Taking flight at once, he didn't stop until he reached the desert, where he came down upon them and found them sitting, weeping and complaining to each other.
Fear not, for relief has come to you.
He told them what the vizier had done, adding,
I imprisoned him with my own hands in obedience to her command, and she's ordered me to bring you back.
They rejoiced at his news. Then he took them up and flew back with them. In less than an hour he brought them to the princess, who rose and greeted them. She made them sit down and brought them food and sweets. They spent the rest of the night with her. The next day, She dressed them in rich clothes and said to the king,
O my father, sit on your throne and be king as before, and make my husband your vizier of the right. Tell your troops what happened. Then send for the vizier out of prison, and kill him and burn him. Also, treat your son-in-law well, whom you make your vizier of the right.
I hear and obey, O my daughter. But do you give me the ring, or give it to your husband?
It's not right that either you or he should have it. I'll keep it myself, and maybe I'll be more careful with it than you. Whatever you want, ask me for it, and I'll ask the genie for you. Fear no harm as long as I live, and after my death, do as you wish with the ring.
This is well seen, O my daughter.
Taking Ma'aruf, he went out to the council. Now the troops had spent the night in great worry about the princess, and what the vizier had done with her. When they saw the king and Ma'aruf, they were glad and rose to their feet.
I'm ill.
May God preserve you, O beloved of my heart.
I may die, and you don't need me to tell you to care for your son. So I only charge you to be careful of the ring, for your own sake and the boys.
No harm shall come to him whom God preserves.
Then she pulled off the ring and gave it to him. The next day she was admitted to the mercy of God Most High, while Ma'aruf remained in possession of the kingship, applying himself to governance. One day, after dismissing the council, the troops withdrew to their places and he went to the sitting chamber, where he sat until day departed and night came with darkness. Then his companions from among the notables came in to him, as was their custom, and sat with him for company and entertainment until midnight, when they asked leave to withdraw. He gave them permission, and they went to their homes. After that, a slave girl who served his bed came in. She spread his mattress, removed his clothes, and dressed him in his sleeping gown. Then he lay down, and she massaged his feet until he fell asleep. She withdrew to her own chamber and slept. Soon he felt something beside him in the bed. Starting up in alarm, he said,
I seek refuge with God from Satan the stoned.
Then he opened his eyes and saw by his side a woman foul of face. He said to her,
Who are you?
Fear not. I am your wife Fatima.
He looked at her face and knew her by her ugly appearance and her long dog teeth. He said,
Where did you come from and who brought you to this country?
In what country are you now?
In the city of Iktian el Qutan. But you, when did you leave Cairo?
Just now.
How can that be?
No, that when I fought with you and Satan tempted me to do you harm, so I complained about you to the judges and they looked for you but couldn't find you. When 2 days had passed, repentance took hold of me and I knew the fault was mine. But repentance didn't help me, and I spent some time weeping for losing you, until what I had in my hand ran out and I had to beg my bread. I fell to begging from everyone, rich and poor, and since you left me, I've eaten the humiliation of begging and been in the worst state. Every night I sat weeping for losing you and for what I've suffered since you left, contempt, humiliation, disgrace, and misery. Yesterday I went about all day begging, but no one gave me anything. As often as I approached someone and begged for a bit of bread, he cursed me and gave me nothing. When night came, I went to bed without supper, and hunger consumed me. The suffering was great, and I sat weeping. Suddenly someone appeared to me and said, "O woman, why do you weep?" I said, I had a husband who used to provide for me and fulfill my wishes, but he's lost to me and I don't know where he went. I've been in dire straits since he left me. He asked, "What's your husband's name?" I answered, "His name is Ma'aruf." He said, "I know him. Know that your husband is now a sultan in a certain city. If you wish, I'll take you to him." I said, "I beg you by your kindness to bring me to him." So he took me up and flew with me between heaven and earth until he brought me to this pavilion and said, "Enter that chamber and you'll see your husband asleep on the couch." So I entered and found you in this state of lordship. Indeed, I never thought you'd forsake me, who am your mate. Praise God who has reunited me with you.
Did I forsake you or you me? You complained about me from judge to judge and ended by reporting me to the high court and bringing down on me the police from the citadel, so I fled in my own despite.
He went on telling her all that had happened to him, and how he had become sultan and married the king's daughter, and how she had died, leaving him a son who was now 7 years old.
That which happened was ordained by God Most High, but I repent and cast myself on your generosity. I beg you not to forsake me, but let me eat bread with you as charity.
She kept humbling herself before him and begging him until his heart softened toward her, and he said,
Repent from mischief and stay with me, and nothing shall happen to you except what pleases you. But if you do any wickedness, I'll kill you and fear no one. Don't think you can complain about me to the high court, and the police will come down on me from the citadel. I've become sultan, and the people fear me. But I fear none save God Most High, for I have a magic ring. When I rub it, the servant of the ring appears to me. His name is Abu Sadat, and whatever I ask of him, he brings to me. So, if you want to return to your own country, I'll give you what will be enough for you all your life and send you there quickly. But if you want to stay with me, I'll assign you a palace and furnish it with the finest silks and appoint you 20 slave girls to serve you and provide you with delicious food and splendid clothing. You'll be a queen and live in all delight until you or I die. What do you say?
I want to stay with you.
She kissed his hand and made a show of repenting from wickedness. So he assigned her a palace for her alone and gave her slave girls and eunuchs, and she became a queen. The young prince used to visit her as he visited his father, but she hated him because he wasn't her son. When the boy saw she looked at him with contempt and hatred, he avoided her and developed a dislike for her. As for Ma'ruf, he occupied himself with the love of beautiful slave girls and didn't think about his wife Fatima, for she had become a gray-haired old woman, ugly of appearance and bald-headed, more loathsome than a speckled snake. She had also treated him extremely badly before, and as the saying goes, ill treatment uproots love and plants hatred in the soil of hearts. Indeed, he gave her shelter only out of desire for the approval of God Most High. He didn't go to her as a husband. When she saw he stayed away from her bed and occupied himself with others, she hated him and jealousy took hold of her. Satan tempted her to take the ring from him, kill him, and make herself queen in his place. So one night she left her pavilion, intending to go to the chamber where her husband the king slept. It happened by the decree of fate and destiny that Ma'ruf lay that night with one of his favorites, a beautiful, graceful, well-proportioned maiden. Now it was his custom, out of the excellence of his piety, that when he intended to lie with a woman, he would take off the magic ring from his finger out of respect for the holy names engraved on it, and lay it on the pillow. He wouldn't put it back on until he had purified himself according to the law. Moreover, when he had lain with a woman, he used to send her away from him before daybreak, out of fear for the ring. When he went to the bath, he would lock the pavilion door until his return, when he would put on the ring. After that, everyone could enter as usual. Fatima knew all this and didn't leave her place until she made sure of it. So she went out, intending to go into him while he was drowned in sleep, and steal the ring without him seeing her. Now it happened at that time that the king's son had gone out, without a light, to the privy to relieve himself. He sat in the dark, leaving the door open. Suddenly he saw Fatima come out of her pavilion and head stealthily for his father's pavilion. He said to himself,
What's wrong with this which to leave her lodging in the dead of night and head for my father's pavilion? There must be some reason for this.
So he left and followed in her steps, unseen by her. Now he had a short sword of watered steel, which he held dear, and he didn't go to his father's council except with it belted on. His father used to laugh at him and say,
God willing, this is a fine sword of yours, O my son, but you haven't gone down with it to battle nor cut off a head with it.
The boy would reply,
I'll certainly cut off with it a head that deserves cutting.
and Ma'ruf would laugh at his words. So the prince drew the sword from its sheath and followed her until she reached his father's pavilion and entered. He stood and watched her from the door. He saw her searching about and heard her say to herself,
Where has he put the ring?
By this he knew she was looking for the ring. He waited until she found it and said,
Here it is.
She picked it up and turned to leave. But he hid behind the door. As she came out, she looked at the ring, turning it in her hand. She was about to rub it when he raised his hand with the sword and struck her on the neck. She gave one cry and fell down dead. At this Ma'ruf woke and saw his wife lying on the ground with her blood flowing and his son standing with the drawn sword in his hand. He said,
What is this, O my son?
O my father, how often have you said to me, You have a fine sword, but you haven't gone down with it to battle nor cut off a head. And I've answered you, saying, I'll certainly cut off with it a head that deserves cutting. Now look, I've cut off for you a head that deserves cutting.
And he told him what had happened. Ma'ruf looked for the ring but didn't find it. He searched her body until he saw her hand closed upon it. He took it from her hand and said,
You are truly my son without doubt. May God ease you in this world and the next, even as you've eased me of this evil woman. Her scheming led only to her own destruction.
Then he called some of his attendants, who came quickly, and he told them what his wife Fatima had done. He ordered them to take her and lay her somewhere until morning. They did as he commanded. In the morning, he gave her to a number of eunuchs, who washed her, shrouded her, made her a tomb, and buried her. Thus her coming from Cairo was only to her grave. After this, Ma'ruf sent for the farmer whose guest he had been when he was a fugitive, and made him his vizier of the right and chief counselor. Then, learning that the farmer had a daughter of surpassing beauty and grace, noble in character and high in worth and birth, he took her to wife. In due time he married his son as well. So they lived for a time in all delight and happiness of life, their days serene and their joys untroubled, until there came to them the destroyer of delights and the sunder of companies, he who lays waste to flourishing houses and orphan sons and daughters. And glory be to the ever-living one who dies not, and in whose hand are the keys of the seen and the unseen,